Hi, Yuri.
Hello.
How you doing?
Not too bad. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you great.
Okay, and then we're not getting any duplications over the stream, are we, sound-wise?
I have not been able to log into Twitch due to computer difficulties.
Ah,
I'm working on it right now. Are you
okay.
live on Twitch?
Yeah, I should be. I haven't checked yet. See. But for some reason, my desktop microphone is showing a lot of the same activity as my desktop audio.
Well, you sound loud and clear to me.
Yeah, but we're talking over
Skype.
Skype.
Yeah. Are you? Let's see. You're here. You're here in the hood, so you can ask the group what they think.
I think we just did. If they're
If they're listening.
yeah.
The reason I can't log into Twitch is I requested they're supposed to send me a verification code, but the email's not working, so I can't get the verification code. Perfect Skyped me. Did he Skype you?
No, he didn't. But I don't.
Yeah, he said he's working on the technical effects.
Yeah. Let's see. Actually, I wouldn't know how to. Oh, is that? Hello, Murfak. Are you hearing me?
He didn't. He talked.
I just tried adding him. Hello? Well, I'm hearing somebody.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, there we go. And I think this is the first time I will have ever heard your voice.
Farfak.
Says Edwards.
Nice to hear you.
Nice to hear you too.
Get to hear his French accent.
I know. I have a French accent.
Yes. Yes, and we have an American accent.
I'm actually of two opinions about that. I think that we actually speak English, proper English, as opposed to what the British speak.
Right. Called American English.
Let's say, actually, no. Overall American accent hasn't changed much since the 1600s. The British accent has.
Oh.
And that's why I say I'm of two minds about whether or not they speak proper English.
Well, I missed the AGM last week because I thought Saturday was Friday.
Okay. I know it's been a long year, but of course I have a surefire way of keeping track of the day of the week. I always eat the same thing for lunch on each day.
Really?
Yeah,
Like a different meal each day of the week?
right. It's almost like clockwork.
Oh my god.
So if I'm having spaghetti, it's Wednesday.
Oh my gosh. You're splashing.
Oh, that's a change. Usually people have trouble hearing me, but they hear Susan a lot better.
And my birds.
Speaking of which, I haven't really noticed them today.
Well, they're relatively quiet. Someone's sitting on a cone, an upside down cone. Very talented balancing act. Oh, I think I have to turn up my volume. No, I have to turn down my volume usually. Is my volume okay, everybody? How's my volume through Twitch, everybody? Okay.
Let's see, 10 minutes yet. Oh, yeah. I need to bring up my stuff. There we go. Ah. I just realized we are actually standing in a neighborhood without the Denis New Year sign.
Oh.
They actually finally got around to taking that down, huh?
Yes, but I'm looking for the pumpkins. When do we get the pumpkins?
Oh, those are right over by the active viewer. The one with the hood messages.
Oh, they got kicked over there. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if I looks like the fall when they put up the fall decorations, they finally got around to taking down the New Year ones.
Yes. Yeah, the New Year was what, April?
I think it lasted all year.
But it's supposed to be April, I think. Is Murphac ready for us? Well, the bot's in the right age, so that's a good start.
Hello, darling.
Well, I can look at Twitch, I just can't type on Twitch.
Mm-hmm. But remember that if they're watching Twitch, then they can hear you talk, so your need to type is limited. I just started listening to the lyrics to the song that's playing and realized how utterly disgusting they are.
Oh, I just muted myself because I was hearing my echo, so I missed the disgustingness. Is that
The song is called Necromorph Soup.
Oh no. Oh dear. Right as Darlene signs in. Hello, Mawa. Or Dawa. Will we be able to do the animals? Oh dear.
That was that
I know what
special
you mean.
request, yeah.
Yeah.
Say, if we can pull that one off, it'll be great, but if necessary, I have other means to demonstrate.
Oh, good. And what is it that we're looking at on your Twitch splash screen?
Today's background screen is another concept art piece from the Age of Ptolemy, which, of course, was never produced.
Oh.
That won't give me snake eyes if I'm holding eyes. I hold the temple down with the wrong day. Golden eye, calling all my ladies who like to rock the cosplay. You take it back to my place and have a little soiree. Party, or take a little game and get and gone, girl. You know we do, it's all like time. So much, I even named my conference speech. I'll be her memory card, so it always save her. The more we're in, we can go home together sooner later.
The birds seem to be behaving themselves today for some reason.
No, I had the mic on mute because it started getting noisy.
Oh, okay.
Steam-powered Nautilus is posting on Twitch. When
Yeah.
you type your chat, make sure that you are typing from the Age Players. Click on Age Players on the left side and then type there. Otherwise, you will be private messaging somebody. Oh, we've got some new faces today. Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Welcome and welcome back. Welcome to the newcomers to the Cavern Tours. We're happy to have you. And welcome back, all the regulars. We're happy to see you, too. Should I go ahead and get started, Larry?
Yeah, but killing the music after this song ends.
Okay.
Which is right about now.
Oh, steam-powered Nautilus is using wine. I think in order to chat, he or she has to use the regular Mula client.
Well, no, wine is an interface. He or she is, Bianco, is on Linux.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anyway, you can start talking anytime you like now.
Alrighty. Well, like I said, welcome everyone. This is the 11th tour. Oh, I can't believe this is the 11th tour already. Everyone, please make sure that you have access to Twitch TV/LWF58. It's also important that you've buddied MiroBot, whose key number 32319, because we will be using him to transport ourselves to the place we'll be visiting today. This age can be noisy in places. If you find that it's too noisy for you to hear our voice chat, you can press F4 to open up your audio settings and just turn down the first 3 sliders that have to do with sound effects and music. And there's another slider here. Yeah, turn down sound effects, ambient sounds, and music, and that should help reduce the game noises so that you can hear our voices, well, especially Larry's. The age we're going to is pretty large. If you happen to get separated from the group, you can simply private message the words find Larry or the words find CT to MiroBot, and you will be instantly linked to one of us. Does anyone have any questions before Larry gets started with his introduction? Okay, Larry, do you want to give a brief introduction?
No.
Okay. Well, that's easy.
Okay. No, actually, we can dive right into this one.
Alrighty. If everyone...
I will say
ahead,
this,
Larry.
though. I was rather amused when you said that you couldn't believe that this was tour number 11 already, since it's been 11 months.
I know. Well, I can't believe
Or was it
we've done
12?
already 10 tours. Time flies. All right, if everyone could please PM the letter W to MiroBot, and you will be linked to the age we're touring today.
That's
the
age,
word
isn't
link.
it? Yeah, there you go.
The word link. Sorry.
Is everyone here? Susan?
There's only one here. You can go ahead and get started.
Okay. As should be patently obvious by now, today's tour is of the age of Teledahn. Yisha had the clue that she left about what people wanted or what she wanted people to believe about the age of Teledahn was left in two clues. One was in the Barrow Cave, and the other was in the notebooks that she left on the Relto shelves. The note about Teledahn was this one here. Okay.
The truth of a man is found in the darkness beneath the surface. Some light might reveal only what some men want to be seen.
Did everyone hear that?
It was a bit soft. What did she say?
Here, let me try kicking up the volume a bit.
The truth of a man is found in the darkness beneath the surface.
Oh, never mind. I know why it was soft. I'm playing it on the wrong computer. Excuse me a moment while I get myself messed up. Okay. Here we go. Now let's try this.
The truth of a man is found in the darkness beneath the surface. Some light might reveal only what some men want to be seen.
How was that?
We didn't hear anything at all.
Nothing at all, huh? That should have been... Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear it because I have Twitch muted.
Okay. Yeah, the other people are saying that they heard it. Okay. Now. So, and then Yisha's speech about Teledahn in the Barrow Cave went like this.
Did you see the hidden caves and the cages? It is where the proud would keep the least. The least were only animals, after all. Animals that could blink. They could be put to work or play. They could ease the burden of the proud and fill their free time with entertainment. Quietly as Denise slept, their lives were taken because the proud make the rules. This wasn't the first time such a blasphemy was part of Denis. The histories whisper of it, like Fatuk the Acher or King Asenlef. And even in this age, it may not be the last.
Now I'm going to be talking a little bit more about her speeches, but first off, let me give you a little introduction to the age as a whole. The age of Teledahn is an archipelago. There are 13 medium to large-size islands in a group, as well as a number of small islands or large rocks that break the surface of the sea. There are what appear to be traces of volcanic activity on all of the islands. The area of Teledahn that we can explore is made up of the two largest islands in the island group. Between is a channel with several varieties of mushrooms growing in or around it. The northern end of the channel opens up into a bay with clear water that holds a dock, which I refer to as the harbor. The southern end of the channel opens into a bay that appears to be filled with a dense matting of plants that reminds me a bit of Sargasso seaweed. There's a map of this age in the harbor's office. From what can be seen on it, there appear to have been 7 mushroom harvesting areas. 6 are highlighted in pale green, and 1 is highlighted in pale red. As a matter of fact, excuse me, I forgot to bring up the game. So let me go ahead and open that. And now I'm going to open up an image for you. If you will all switch over to the stream in your web browser for a moment. This is the map that you find in the office. You will see that just above the center of the map, there's one area highlighted in with a red color. The green circle that I've marked on there is the area that we can explore or see from here. And then you'll notice that there are several other areas that are highlighted in light green. And I suspect, although I've never been confirmed, that those might have been other mushroom harvesting areas. Oh, let me bring that back for a second. You'll notice that broken red lines lead from the red highlighted areas to the green ones, which may mean that it was the headquarters area of the operation and the place where spores were shipped to for processing and transport back to Denis. DRC notes do indicate that at least one other area of Teledahn was intended to be open to access, but that work stopped when Douglas Sharper came into conflict with the DRC. In the lower right-hand corner of the map, there is an island with a drawing of maintainer heavy environmental armor next to it. There's a dot on it, and broken line concentric circles radiate out from it. Also near the island is a drawing of a rock tower that seems to be the nest of a type of flying creature. On the right and lower left of the map are drawings of creatures that seem to be much larger than Shroomy, whose species is shown in at least 4 places on the map. Both of the larger animals are shown as having predatory characteristics, and that would explain why Shroomi's kind have such heavy armor and spiked defenses along their body. Also shown in two areas elsewhere on the map, up near the top, are towering objects that could be buildings. A little bit of the history of the age. Teledahn was written in the Denis year 8990, which would have been 1334 on the surface. It was created for the 250th birthday of a man named Lord Hinash, who was guildmaster of the Guild of Caterers. It was written by his friend, Grandmaster Mararon of the Guild of Writers. It was intended to be a rest stage, but Hinash didn't really like it and spent very little time here. However, he collected samples of the plant life and conducted cooking experiments. He found that the spores of one of the species of giant mushrooms were not only edible, but were quite tasty, and he developed a recipe for flavored bread which became popular among the Denis elite. The bread was never plentiful due to the small size of the age and the fact that he hand-harvested the spores, which meant that it was an expensive luxury product that the common people could not afford. After the death of Hinash in Denis year 9005, Teledahn passed into ownership of the Guild of Caterers, and a decision was made to industrialize the spore harvesting to produce the bread in quantity and make the age profitable. Command of this operation was given to a guild captain named Ventus. That decision was a mistake, because there never were very many of the giant mushrooms, and organized harvesting led to the exhaustion of the available supply of spores in a pretty short time. Rather than wait for the mushrooms to recover and resume production on a smaller scale, the guild put the age up for auction. However, it remained unpopular and had no buyers. There's even a rumor that the descriptive book was abandoned in a trash heap at one point. In Denis year 9396, or 1740 on the surface, Teledahn somehow fell into the hands of a man named Monesmo, who announced that he was going to reinstate the spore harvesting operation on a small scale. And he did indeed harvest spores and produce bread, which was sold on the market. However, that was not his true purpose in purchasing the age. Instead, he was actually using the spore harvesting work as a front for an illegal slave trading operation that funneled non-human slaves to an age called Rebek. Rumors of his real operation did eventually reach the Council of Denis, and they ordered an investigation by the Guild of Maintainers. However, the maintainers had not yet cracked the case when the fall of Denis put an end to the investigation, the slave trade, and the government. Okay, Murfak, if you could, can you transfer us over to the walkways near the solar collection tower? While we're waiting to be warped, does anyone have any questions about anything I've spoken about up to this point? Is Murphak here? Yes. I don't know if you can hear him over the stream chat, but he's actually speaking with us, and even if he himself is not, if his actual avatar isn't here, he's here in the form of Mirobot, which is his bot run off of his computers. Spatial K, that's a good question, and no, it is not. Ages are rarely more than very small patches on a planet. There were two parts to this age. We're in what's called Teledahn 1, which was the part that the DRC first opened. However, they had intended to open up a section called Teledahn 2, which unfortunately never happened because they ran out of funds. The Age of Earth, which was written by Rinaref back when they were deciding to abandon Garternay, was at first comprised almost entirely of the main Denis cavern. So it was actually a fairly small age. However, apparently ages are somewhat flexible because the current age of Earth is now stretches all the way from the Great Shaft, which is under the volcano in the cleft, all the way over to a fair selection of caverns that the Denis eventually moved into. Jamie is asking, is the sun a sun? I'll be discussing that in detail later, so hold on until then, please. Yes, they could. There was not, generally speaking, ages were kind of built into confined areas, but but just because an age is written doesn't mean that that's the entirety of the world, and there's nothing like a border or barrier that prevents somebody from crossing over it. To give you a good example of that, the age of Lakian consisted of a small group of islands set out in a shallow sea. But there were native people in that age who came and went all the time. As a matter of fact, whenever the Denis wanted to hold one of the arena games against the Laki, the creatures in that age, they would light up a beacon that would summon all of the people to that age. I mean, to the age, so that they could participate in the arena combat. Okay. Well, this wasn't quite where I wanted to go, but it'll do. I had mentioned that we are in an archipelago which consisted of a number of large islands and small ones. So from up here, we are on top of the main mushroom tower, which holds the spore processing facility. And so as long as we're up here, I'll give you a chance to look around and take some pictures, because this will give you a pretty good view of the this part of the age as a whole. And from up here, it's easy to see the weeds choking this channel that I think are somewhat similar to Sargasso, although I'm not positive about that. And as long as we're up here, I will say something about the sun real quick. No, I personally do not believe that it is a real sun. And from up here, you can see some very clearly some reasons why. One, if you track it around the circle, notice that it goes underneath the clouds. The other thing is that if you face towards the waterfall, there is a mountain peak that the water streams down from. Watch what happens when that sun disk passes over the waterfall. Is that the first time that you've ever seen a mountain behind a sun?
Oh, the sun. It went in front of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's because the orbit of that disk is well within the size of this island. So, if it passes under the clouds and in front of the mountains, I think it's a pretty fair guess that that is not the sun of this age. And that explains, by the way, why this age was unpopular before that disk was added. And that's because this age is naturally shrouded in clouds 24/7 all year. And that means that it's perpetually dark and gloomy. And of course, if you lived in a cave for most of your life, and you came to an age that was virtually the same as it was underground, how popular would it be with you? Jamie, speaking out of character, they made that disc specifically for this age. Most of the in all of the other ages, the sun is part of a dome that surrounds the model of the age, even on ones where the sun moves. So this is very definitely a feature that was deliberately intended for this age and this age only. And I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go back.
I also wonder where the source of that water is.
A natural spring. It basically comes up from underground through cracks in the rock. Or so I assume, anyway. I'm going to, back on the stream, I'm putting the map of Teledahn back up. So if you'll all look at the stream browser, the browser window again, that green marker that I have there, that green circle, that's not just the limits of the age itself, but that's also the radius of the sun as it circles around, it's circling around us. That circle is centered on the solar collection tower down below. So if you've ever wondered how big the orbit is, that's what it is. And as I mentioned, it is actually smaller than the islands. Clady is asking if water from the top of a rock mountain, is that possible? Very definitely. That's how springs work, is that water is forced up from underground through weaknesses in the soil and rock. And that's why you have rivers flowing down from mountains in the first place. It's quite common. The other, of course, is that rain will also contribute by building up lakes. But the rain alone would not be able to form all of the rivers that there are. That's what a spring is.
I was seeing some dunny numbers on that map. Do we know what they represent?
Unfortunately, no. But again, I should be talking more about that later, because I do have notes about some of the features on the map. I'm going to be talking again about various theories there are about this age towards the end of the tour, and that's when I'll mention them. I'm actually doing this one, talking about this sun out of order because we happened to come up here instead of where I had originally intended to go. Okay, and I think we've spent enough time up here looking around. Murphak, if you can, I want to go down to the solar collection tower. There we go. And this is more or less the center of the age as it was at the time of Guildmaster Ventus, or the center of this part of the age, I should say. Surrounding us is a collection of machines that were installed during the height of the spore collection. It's powered by that orbiting energy disk. The energy emitted is collected by the antenna on the tower ahead of us. That in turn drives a motor in the base. The motor turns gears that turn drive shafts, and you'll see that there are 3 drive shafts leading off from the tower assembly. The first drive shaft leads to a gate mechanism installed across the northern entrance of the channel. And that, let's see. Okay, there we go. So yeah, off in that direction there. That gate was put in, by the way, to prevent the giant arthropods from getting into the lagoon, because they were quite fond of eating the giant mushrooms that the Guild of Caterers were trying to harvest for food. It apparently was not necessary to install a similar gate at the southern end of the lagoon, possibly because the arthropods were unable to swim through the seaweed that covers that end. The second drive shaft leads to a mushroom, which was the last one being harvested. That is diverted upward to a work platform and was for powering a winching mechanism for a bucket hoist. Looking around, you'll notice that the mushrooms have the remains of canopy spread around the lower part of the stem. Those were installed to catch spores that fell before the workers could harvest them. The final drive shaft links to the central tower, the one that holds the water tank, hut room, etc. That shaft turned a generator for electrical power that was needed to operate the lights, elevator, and other devices in the tower. If we walk over towards this direction, let's say, no, excuse me, is that going back? No. Oh yeah, this is the right direction. Okay. So if we walk over here towards the position where they were last harvesting, below me, you can see the drive shaft coming over to the mushroom and then going upwards to the work platform. I'm now walking over here where you can see there's a cable coming down from the work platform, which is up above us. And in the water below, you will see the hoist bucket that was used to, that the workers would pack with mushroom spores and then send to, that would then be put into transfer buckets to be taken to the tower to be processed. So that's down in the lying in the water at the base of the mushroom. Workers here on the catwalk would scoop the spores out of the hoist bucket and put it into these large transfer buckets, which would then ride the cableway over to the tower. Poppy Seeds is noting that the drive shaft for the mushroom work platform doesn't operate. And that's correct. We don't. It seems to be broken, or else there's a secret to operating it that we just don't know. Okay, now. At this point, I think we're ready to move on, unless anyone has any questions.
So whoever got the idea for people to jump in these buckets?
Yisha. The idea, the reason why you need to do that, of course, is because you can't unlock the elevator to go up and down the shaft until you actually get into the control room. Okay, it doesn't look like we have anything in the way of questions, so Murfak, please take us up to the office at the top of the tower. That's true. Clady, there aren't very many fun rides in this version of Myst, so it's always fun to get in those buckets. Okay. Okay. Now, all of the offices in this age have one thing in common. They were all carved out of the remains of giant mushrooms that died. The main tower is a particularly large mushroom stem that has its cap lying half submerged in the water next to it. This tower is made up of 4 main levels. We're starting out here in the office. This would have been originally have been the office of Guild Captain Ventus when he was visiting this part of the age, although it might possibly have been used by an on-site supervisor as well. When Douglas Sharper began to renovate this age, and he had been chosen to do the restoration because he was the one who originally found the linking book to Teledahn. He also used this office for his own work. It features a desk that has various papers and drawings on it, windows which overlook the age, a fish tank containing a miniature of the Teledahn landscape, a Nexus book, and a hidden linking book to the Baron's office in Agra. The Baron's office, in turn, has a linking book directly to this office. Does anyone here, by the way, know why it's called the Baron's office?
A baron used to use it?
Nope. Douglas Sharper had a nickname among the DRC after he started working on Teledahn. He was called the Shroom Baron.
And how did you figure that out? I've never heard that before.
Actually, the way you know that, one of the obvious ways to know that is to buy the soundtrack album of music from Uru, because the song that's played in the background while you're visiting that is titled Shroom Baron or something like that. Okay.
And folks, you only get that information here on our Cavern Tours.
One of the things that you might want to notice on the desk, there is a model of Shroomy, as well as a number of drawings. There is a packing information or owner's manuals for the fish tank. The fish tank, by the way, here's another piece of trivia for you, was designed and made by Tony Fryman, who is currently one of the supervisors at Cyan Worlds. And the fish tanks are actually real. In other words, you can still buy them in real life on the internet, because as far as I know, Tony still makes them. Another thing that you will see sitting on the desk is a maintainer helmet. That's the same helmet that you will find when you visit the Age of Garrison, lying on the floor in the locker room of Garrison 1, and also as part of the suit that you find hanging in one of the locker rooms or the changing rooms in Garrison 2. That's the helmet that the maintainers wore right up until the end of the Denis Empire. The model of Shroomy, by the way, is a scaled-down version of the actual model that is used for Shroomy in the game. So that's accurate because it is the actual model of Shroomy.
Are we going to be visiting the Baron's office today?
No, we've already been there as far as I know. Didn't we do that as part of the tour of Agra Island?
Quite honestly, I don't remember.
I think we did.
I do remember, I do know though that there's lots and lots of Teledahn information in there. There's a big box full of maps. There's pictures of drawings of Shroomy.
A lot of the drawings you'll see later here in the Age, because those were copies of documents that he kept in the Baron's office.
And in that corner office in the Dakota building, there's lots of Teledahn books all over the desk.
To answer Ethan Evers' question, we do not know who the picture is of. We don't know if it's somebody related to Douglas Sharper, whether it's an older picture than that or not. There are simply no clues whatsoever as to who that might be. Okay, and then we had better get moving since we're already an hour in. Okay, Murphak, please take us down to the control room. Oh, while we're waiting for him to do that, notice the lamps hanging from the ceiling. Those are actually Denis compass roses, and they work as counterweights for the window shutters. If somebody can work the control for the window shutters, please. Evelyn's standing right next to it. Notice the lamps come downward while the shutters are pulled upwards. But the writing on those lamps are the Denis words for north, south, east, and west. And if you look at the floor, you'll notice that the same design is what makes up the rug here. Vamo, Tima, I forget what the other two words are. Whether or not all the rug and the lamps are actually pointing north and south, I don't know. I haven't actually looked into that.
Do we know if the lake is freshwater or saltwater?
It's a lagoon, so it's probably saltwater. it's open to the sea on both ends. Don't know if you looked at the stream chat, Susan, but Darlene says hello to your birds.
Yeah, I just saw that. I've had my mic muted, but when I talk, of course, they have to speak too.
Any other questions while we're waiting for Murphac to warp us down?
Why do we do that? Okay.
There we go. This is the control room, which was where most of the work involved in actually making the, or harvesting the, let me try and fix my talking here, where most of the work of moving the mushroom spores that had been harvested along their way. In here, when the shutters are closed, which they are not at the moment, you will see a logo that you will find in several other places. Hold on a sec. I'm going to answer this question real quick. Putro, the sound is, excuse me. Yeah, there we go. So Jamie did it for me. Okay. Now I'm going to open up another picture over on, oops, where's my cursor? There we go. Okay, why am I not seeing it? It should be right in front of my face. Okay, I can't find the actual symbol, but I'll bring up this one instead. Okay. If everyone will take a look at the stream window for a moment. Oh, my game just crashed, so I'm going to have to restart that. But this is a reproduction that I did of the Teledahn company logo. The Denis writing in the lower half does say Teledahn. The name Teledahn is made up of three Denis words: To Elamarti Nadanets. To Elamarti Nadanets means place of place of spores mushroomy, literally. Or so the name of Teledahn means the place of mushroom spores. For those of you who may still be in the tower room, and for those of you who are returning there, the control room is where the transfer buckets pass through and drop their cargo of spores. There's a control panel for the entire tower, which opens the hatch to the pumping tank, drains the tank, turns on the lights, and controls the transfer buckets. Okay, let's...
I just crashed too.
Okay.
Got a call stack error.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. So... Okay, linking to the bot takes you back to the control room, so it's not hard to get back. Oh, and the hatch is now closed, so you can see the Teledahn logo on it pretty easily. Okay, now let's go ahead and on the stream I'm going to show you a couple of pictures that have to do with the buckets. Browse. Let's see. Okay, now if you look down, or look at the stream window again, I have a picture that's looking down at the platform that I'm standing on, so that you can see that there's a grate with a giant fan on it. When spores are dropped here, the fan starts spinning. And you will notice there are two machines with pipes leading to them on either side of that fan assembly. Now, I'm going to show you something that you will not have seen before. This is what it looks like underneath or inside the fan assembly. With the assembly in the center, you will see the drive shaft for the fan, and then you'll see two pipes going off to either side, which you saw in the last picture. Oh, hello, Richard, and welcome. Richard A. Watson has just joined us. And so those two pipes would, the fan would have drawn the spores down and forced them to either side through those pipes.
They crashed.
We're not going anywhere for a couple minutes anyway. Now, going back to the picture I showed you a moment ago, the overhead shot of the control room. So, to the left and right of the fan, you'll see those two pipes that we saw from underneath, feeding into those machines that have more pipes leading away from them. So that is what happens with the spores that get dropped onto the platform. They are sucked and blown through those pipes where they continue their journey. Everyone, it looks like, is crashing at some point before. Jamie, the spores are not for power of any sort. They were to be eaten. Okay, Bianco, hope to see you next time.
Shara rah rah.
And let's go ahead and kill that picture. From this room, there are two telescopes to the outside, as well as small viewports. This allowed the person here, or persons here in the control room, to keep an eye on the overall operation in this area. And I had mentioned when we were down by the solar collector that a drive shaft from the collector mechanism came up and into this to the tower, and this is where it ends up. You can see the drive shaft spinning here. It comes up through the floor and then into that machine at the top, which is the electrical generator that provides all of the electricity for the age. Say, you're talking about the Denis who thought that being several hundred feet up in the air without a guardrail was just fine. Okay, Murfak, are you back in business yet? Okay, we're ready to move on, so we want to go down to the hut room. Okay. We are now on the third level of the tower, and this room, this side part of the tower, is what happened to the spores when they were sucked through the pipes in the control room. In fact, you can see mushroom spores floating down to the ground all around us right now. This room would normally be filled almost to the catwalk with water. The spores from the control room would float down into the water, and when they had enough, oh, I had missed that comment. Rawa says, Osha has not yet made it to the cavern. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, the mushroom spores would float down into the water, and when enough of the spores were saturated, that they would begin the next part of their journey. Murphak, if you can, take us down to the next level into the basin. We can skip it if you want, and take me all the way down to the bottom. That did weird things to my camera. Okay. Yes?
Isn't Mirafak doing a spectacular job transporting us from place to place?
He always does. He's a champ. Okay, so this is the part that would have been filled with water, and which the spores all floated down into and saturated into. The hole in the center is a drain with a pump at the bottom. So Murphak, if you can take us down to the bottom.
I feel as though we're being flushed down the drain.
Yes, indeed. Now, once you spread out just a little bit, what I want you to do is look down. Because right near the base of the ladder, you will see a floor drain. That's the actual water pump. And and all of the water with spores in it would be sucked into that drain and sent through another pipe on its way over to the harbor. If you look at the large pipe that we can walk up, that's actually there to bring water in to refill the tank. So that's the source of the water. The drain in the floor is where it exited. As we walk up the pipe, we start running into some markings on the wall, graffiti. which I always seem to miss somehow. Hopefully I haven't passed them. But if I have... yeah, I did. Okay. Should have been back down this way. Right around here. Here we go. The first marking is one that's generated a fair amount of controversy throughout the years, because no one actually knows exactly what it is. In case you're having trouble seeing it, I'm going to be putting up I hope. For some reason, I'm having trouble finding a lot of my pictures that I had set aside. Here we go. There it is. Okay. On the stream, I have a reproduction of it up, although it's a little hard to see. So let me turn off the game camera for a moment. And that's still not good enough, so let me turn off the background. There, that's easier to see. Oops. Okay. Yeah, these are not my right notes. I don't know what happened. Okay. Anyway. A lot of people have always thought that these markings that we find in this tunnel were done by the Barrow. The thing is that they are not the same style. The Barrow style is actually pretty different from what you see from what we have here in this tunnel. This particular marking was thought to be a representation of the journey called the Path of the Hand. The spiral symbol is a common one among Barrow, which is one of the reasons why people believe that this is a Barrow-made glyph. And if you'll notice that it is a spiral which has sections around the outside divided into 4 parts, which might represent the 4 platforms that you stand on when you're doing the Path of the Hand. And there's even 4 dots that might represent the pillars that you find in the Barrow Cave. Thing is that, again, the style is different, so we can't be certain of it. But it's about the best explanation that anyone's put out so far. Further up, we have a few markings which are quite different and are very definitely not the style of the Barrow. Instead, they were more likely to have been made by the prisoners that were kept here. And again, those were not Baro. The next markings that we find on the wall, and let me bring that up on the stream. Okay. The next markings are so unlike baroglyphs that they couldn't possibly have been made by the Baro. What we have are 3 figures. 2 of them are shown wearing leg irons that are chained to each other to prevent them from running away easily. The third figure shows a person being suspended by a chain by manacles around his wrists. And this is significant because it's something that actually happened here in this age, and I'll be showing you later. Now, the one thing that you have to know, and why we know that the prisoners that made this, who did this graffiti, were not Baro, is the way these figures are drawn. You'll make a note that they're more or less like stick figures in a way. Let me show you what the Baro, assuming I can find the photo. Figures, I can't find it. The Baro drew themselves as hunched over figures with solid bodies, and very often with a symbol on their chest, which was nicknamed the Morning Eye by a group called that called themselves the Baroglyph Study Group. That one I do have, so I will show you that in the stream right now. This is the if you're looking at the stream, this is the symbol that the Baro used quite commonly whenever they were drawing themselves. And you'll notice that that symbol is not included with this graffiti. Further up the water intake pipe. Okay, let me turn this off, then the background and the game back on so that you can follow along. Okay.
Yeah, I seem to recall the Baro's depiction of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's on that Baro stone that's on the upper balcony in the neighborhoods.
Not only there, but it's also drawings of themselves are in a lot of places where you find baroglyphs in the first place. Eder Chemo, for instance, shows them at least a couple of times. Here in this section of the shaft, we have a drawing of Shroomy, which is also not the way that the Baro, it's not in the Baro art style. Let me browse for that one. I should have it right here. Yes, okay. So let's turn off that and that. Okay, this one is too dark to see on the stream, so I just have to use the view, game view for. Excuse me. Probably help if I turned it on. Yeah, that was, but no, it is too dark to see clearly in the stream, unfortunately. So I'll just dismiss that and bring the game back.
I wonder if Mirfat could turn on our key lights.
He did. This is just a very dark place up here.
Okay.
And then there is one final glyph, which is farther up the shaft, but it's a repeat of the spiral pattern, so there's not much point in going all the way up there. At this point, my game is going to crash, so I'm going to have to restart. Say, welcome to the Cavern Tours, where we stress the game to its limits. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say that that was pretty much all that I could say about those particular glyphs, so we're going to continue into the prison cell next. By the way, the Bottloglyph Study Group, their webpage is still on the internet, so you can go and look at it if you wish, just by looking up by that name. They were an interesting group. They did, because they combined some serious research and guesswork with some of the most fanciful stuff that you've ever seen. The story that they have for the morning eye symbol is absolutely fantastic. It's unbelievable how much they read into what, after all, was a simple drawing. Okay, doesn't look like the bot's back yet.
Well, the bot is on my buddies list.
He is on mine, but when I tried to link to him, it didn't work. So yeah, presumably he wasn't ready yet. L-A-N-K. Yes.
Larry, maybe this would be a good time for you to post a link to your fantastic website that you've designed. If you could post that both in Moolah and on Twitch, I think some people would like to look at it.
I don't think I have a way of writing in the stream, but Anyway, when you get back in, we're all going to the prison cell next. So, okay, where am I? Here we are. Now, one of the questions that comes up is, Yisha always claimed that the bar, or I should say, she hinted that the Baro were the ones who were kept here in this prison cell. And she wanted people to believe, of course, that the Denis were the ones who were imprisoning them and making slaves of them and doing all sorts of horrible things. But if you read the DRC's accounts of things, the only thing that they ever had to say was that there was never any hint of them in any of the writings that they found or translated. And one thing that we have in here to give us a hint is the bones left behind of former prisoners. To give you an example, over here we have what looks like, I'm not sure if this I'm not sure if this is an arm bone or the part of a leg bone. The one thing I do know is that it's larger than human size. And somewhere in here, if we can find it, there was a part of a spine. I don't see it at the moment. And I believe it, okay. Yeah, you'll have to come back on your own to look sometime, but there's part of a spine in here. There was part of a spine in here normally, and that too is much larger than human size. Now the thing about that is that the Baro are actually more or less the same size as we are. So these bones are too big for them. But if there is a there are a few drawings around of things from the age of Rebek, which is where these slaves were. The right-hand gate. Okay. Excuse me. Philip says that the spine was over here. Oh, how did I walk past that without seeing it? So yes, this is the spine. And as you can see, not only is that not Baro-shaped, because they don't have those back spines, but also this thing is huge. So the and as I was saying, there are some things from Rebek that we can see, and one of them is a sketch of some creatures that are interesting. Let me see if I can bring this up. If we go to there and there, here we go. Okay. If you check out the stream window, I'll have this sized in a moment. Whoops. Okay, that wasn't what I was trying to click on. Hee hee. There we go. That's now we can see the entire picture. This is a picture that was taken from sketches of Rebek. And these match up with something that we find in the age of Ederkemo. In Ederkemo, there are a couple of drawings about Rebek in the Baro art around the central courtyard. And one of those pictures shows footprints that could look like they're from these creatures. I don't know if I have that set aside. Hang on for a second. Whoops.
Someone is asking if it's confirmed if these are the bones of slaves or leftovers from dinner.
They would not have left something like that in a prison chamber because bones can be made into tools. And there's also the fact that if you look around, you will see on the bench, you will see bowls and other eating utensils. So the slaves here were probably fed something like soup or gruel, or some sort of porridge. Let's see. Okay, no, I don't have those in my collection here. Okay. Oh, yes, I do. Never mind. Here it is. Okay. So here we have... This is a color enhanced... on the stream, we have a color-enhanced version of the picture of one of the pictures from Rebek, which is which was scratched out, presumably by Yisha. And if you look on the right-hand margin near the center, there are what look like hoof-shaped footprints with 3 finger markings on the ground as if something were walking a little bit like a gorilla. The other thing is that you will see pictures of Denis people with hunting bows and spears. And right smack in the middle, between the footprints and the Denis figures, we have a picture of the slave cave here in Teledahn, or perhaps one on Rebek, where if you look inside, you'll see a figure, and just above it, there are 2 more of the figures which have arrows in them and blood splatters around them. Those are the depictions of the slaves that were being hunted on Rebek. Now let me go back to this picture and resize it back so you can see it again. Can anyone see a resemblance there? Clady is asking who was buying the slaves. And the answer to that was there was a renegade group of Denis who had formed a hunting club. But they were bored with hunting animals. And when they eventually got hold of the book for Rebek, they found that the age had a native race. And they decided at some point that hunting intelligent non-humans was a lot more fun than hunting animals, because the humans, or I should say the intelligent people, try harder to avoid death. They eventually drove the native race of Rebek into extinction. And that's why they contacted Menesmo, who set up the slave trading ring in order to provide them with new prey for their games on Rebek. Some of this is in Sharper's notebook in the Baron's office, by the way. Sharper, by the way, what he had to say about it was that some of the games actually sounded fun if you didn't count the whole hunting down people aspect. Okay, do we have any other questions about what I've spoken with up to this point? No. The Teledahn operation was a front for the slave trading, so they had legitimate Denis workers here harvesting the spores and making the mushroom bread. Okay, one of the things that we have to assume is that Yisha, who left her tramp stamp on the floors here in the prison chamber, altered the things and brought the rocks in specifically for the puzzle she left here. Spatial K, I had mentioned that earlier. Menesmo was being investigated by the Guild of Maintainers. But this was right before the fall of Denis, and therefore he had not been they had not tracked him down and cracked the case before the fall of Denis interrupted everything, and of course everyone wound up dead. So in a way, Menesmo was brought to justice, but it was the same. But so were all of the innocent people as well, because they all died in the fall. Excuse me. Getting back to Jamie's question, by the way. So you can assume that the rocks were not here when the slaves were. Yisha would have brought them in when she set up this puzzle to open the doors. Okay. And, oh, by the way, I am presuming that those pressure plates were not here at the time of Menesmo, because who in his right mind gives the slaves the keys to the cell? Okay, and now we want to go ahead and move on to the next room.
And just FYI, it's about 12:45.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a feeling that we would not be finishing up today. Oh, there's another one of the bones, and it's an even bigger one. Can't get the door. Okay. We have to use the walk command to get through, but so let's see, walk, oops, walk, 1. Okay, now just tell the bot find Larry, and that'll get you over to where I am. And then if we go, whoops, he warped us. Okay. Okay, continuing on out to the antechamber, you will notice that in this room, over on the side where I'm looking, there's what appears to be a stone bench with manacles attached to the wall, as well as one set loose on it. This would have been a waiting room where slaves would be placed while being transferred to the office out by the harbor, where people would actually come to examine them and see if they wanted to purchase that particular slave. Also, it could have been a showroom as well, but that's not something I'm quite as positive about. Okay. That was placed there by Douglas Sharper. He discovered that particular trick and decided to use it for his own purposes.
I think it's a borrow stone, not a linking book. So the borrow must have made it, huh?
Actually, I'm not quite sure. It could. This age was heavily modified by Yisha, so it's also entirely possible that it was her doing. Okay, and it is now 1:47. So we knew that going into it that this tour often went overtime, and in the past we have split it up into 2 parts. So at this point, since we're about to enter a new section of the age, and I'm going to be going into the backstory about that, it might be a good idea if we called it here for today and pick it up next month. So I will thank you everyone for attending and being patient, and I hope you enjoyed today's session.
And thank you, Larry and Mirfak, for all your hard work.
I hope everyone had fun and saw stuff that they've never seen before.
Yes, and there will be a quiz next month.
Not next week. It's next month. We're doing this on every second Saturday.
Yeah. Just kidding about the quiz. But you never know with Larry. He might do a pop quiz.
Actually, there's something special that I'm hoping that Mirfak might be able to do for us, so that'll give him another month to work out the details. You're welcome, Richard, and was glad to see you again. I hope you're planning on making this a regular thing.
And so everyone mark your calendars for Saturday, December 12th at 11 a.m. key time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Richard, did I do a decent job about explaining things while you were here? Did you see anything in particular that didn't jibe with what you remember? By the way, this is not the end of today's events here in the cavern. Susan, do you have the the current today's events set up? Or,
I don't have them set up.
I mean, hang on just a second, and I'll look.
I believe that karaoke is still at 1600, and they've moved it to the new Messengers pub.
That's correct. They have indeed. But hold on, I'm looking up one of the events posts right now.
And then there are 2 times for Arte's Story Night. Go ahead, Larry.
At 1400 key time, there's Story Night in Sano's Hood. At 1600 key time is karaoke in the new Messengers pub. And then at 2330 is a repeat of Story Night for the Asian side of the globe. And
my birds are calling Larry's house because they want to be heard.
I wouldn't put it past them. Okay, and so do you have anything else to say?
No, but I want Merrifac to say hi. If he's still on Skype. Can you say hi to the group?
I don't know if they can hear him because I'm not specifically connected to him, but is everyone hearing Merrifac? If so, say so in chat.
Say hello, Merrifac. Or Merfac. Merrifac. Next month. We'll get them turned up next month.
Okay. So yeah, the Story Night is in an hour? Yeah, 14. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock my time, something like that. Okay. Okay, yeah. See, I don't. What happens is in order for his voice to go out over the stream and not just in Skype, I have to add him using a special mode like I did you. And since he caught me by surprise by doing voice chat today, I didn't do that. Oh,
They're
yeah.
Asking for your YouTube channel.
Are you? If you go on Facebook and look at the Myst Online group there, then I have all of my links posted in the chat. And here, if you go to Flores, whoops, I have to go to Age Players here. There we go. Stika.com/hpotd. That link there goes to my my Myst Uru and Uru information site. which covers an awful lot of the stuff that we're talking about here today. And there is a link there to tour information on the main page, which you will find links for all my stuff. That's the website that Susan was talking about earlier. But the YouTube link is one of those, is really long and involved, so there's no freaking way I'm going to remember it. Okay. Do we have any last questions before I end the stream?
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Okay. Bye-bye.